Welcome to our CFP exam prep discussion on fiscal policy tools. Today, we're diving deep into how Congress wields its power to shape the economy through three main levers. These are taxation, government spending, and debt management. Let's start with taxation. Congress can either stimulate or slow down economic growth by adjusting tax rates. When Congress lowers tax rates, individuals and businesses have more disposable income, leading to increased consumer spending and business investment. For example, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 reduced corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%, which aimed to boost business investment and economic growth. Conversely, higher tax rates can help cool down an overheated economy by reducing disposable income. Government spending is another powerful tool. When Congress increases spending on infrastructure, education, or defense, it creates jobs and stimulates economic activity through what economists call the multiplier effect. Think about a government contract to build a new highway. The construction company hires workers, buys materials, and these workers and suppliers then spend their earnings, creating a ripple effect throughout the economy. However, excessive government spending can lead to inflation if the economy is operating at full capacity. The third lever is debt management. Congress influences the economy by deciding how much to borrow and when to borrow it. When the government issues bonds to finance spending, it affects interest rates and can either crowd out private investment or provide stability during economic downturns. A common mistake students make on the CFP exam is confusing fiscal policy with monetary policy. Remember, fiscal policy is controlled by Congress and the executive branch, while monetary policy is the Federal Reserve's domain. Another frequent error is failing to recognize the time lag between when fiscal policies are implemented and when their effects are felt in the economy. The effectiveness of fiscal policy tools depends on several factors: economic conditions, the size of the policy change, and how people and businesses respond all matter. For instance, a tax cut during a recession might lead people to save rather than spend the extra money, reducing the policy's stimulative effect. Students often struggle with questions about automatic stabilizers. These are fiscal mechanisms that automatically help stabilize the economy without requiring new legislation. Examples include unemployment benefits that increase during recessions and progressive tax rates that collect more revenue during expansions. The CFP exam might present scenarios asking you to identify the most appropriate fiscal policy response to different economic conditions. If you see a question about combating high unemployment, look for answers involving increased government spending or tax cuts. For questions about controlling inflation, consider options that reduce government spending or increase taxes. A key concept to master is the difference between structural and cyclical deficits. The structural deficit exists regardless of economic conditions, while the cyclical deficit fluctuates with the business cycle. Test questions often explore this distinction to assess your understanding of fiscal sustainability. Remember that fiscal policy tools work in combination, not isolation. The exam might present complex scenarios where you need to evaluate the combined effects of changes in taxation, spending, and debt management. Focus on understanding how these tools interact and their potential trade-offs rather than memorizing isolated effects. Keep in mind that while fiscal policy is powerful, it has limitations. Political gridlock, implementation delays, and competing economic objectives can all impact its effectiveness. The CFP exam tests your ability to recognize these real-world constraints when analyzing fiscal policy decisions.